What's up, everyone? It's Wednesday, it's Late Night Agenda. As always, I'm your host Craig, and you are very welcome along to tonight's show. This is a show where you let me know what you want to talk about. Liverpool topics, non-Liverpool topics, transfer related, pre-season, whatever it might be. This is your show, this is your agenda. Let me know what it is you want to discuss. I hope you're all keeping well, as always. Good weather, makes people happy, makes me happy. I hope everyone's having a good week so far. If you're a Monday to Friday person, then midweek for you. The weekend is almost here. I don't know what else to say. I want to get just straight into the show tonight. Did you notice we only lost once last season to Ashwan? Which is a really, I like that comment, mate. That's a good comment to start the show off with. Sometimes you see people losing their minds and you do need to come back down to earth and realise that we're a pretty damn good team, aren't we? We're not too bad. 6 times champions of Europe. Roberta, how are you, buddy? The Rev and I, John Hamilton, Mossy, and everyone else that's in. How are you? Hope you're all keeping well. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to start off with tonight, guys? This is your show, as always. Let me know. Can I start with Fernandes? Asked Mossy Kyo. Of course I can, Mossy. No problem whatsoever, mate. Right, so here's what I have. Here's the few little bits and pieces I have around Bruno Fernandes. His agent travelled to the UK yesterday to have talks with, or to try and fish out, I suppose, potential suitors for his client. It's understood United very much want to get Bruno Fernandes done, but Sporting seem to want 50 million for the player, and as of yet nobody has come up with that amount of money, not that I've seen. Now, what I'm about to say I'm taking from Sky Sports News, so I want to give credit where it's due, because people put their hard work in here. So look, from what I've read, it seems there's a £31 million release clause in his contract with Sporting Lisbon. Now, Steve, retroandlim.com, has mentioned this on the stream for quite a while, as have many other people. Now, the thing about this clause that's very important to clarify is, normally, let's use Rodri today with Manchester City as an example. Manchester City wanted to go and sign Rodri, so they went to the Spanish FA or the La Liga offices and just gave them a check for whatever the release clause was, €70 million, and that's that, job done. He's their player. It actually has nothing to do with Atletico, really, once that release clause is there. The Sporting one for Bruno Fernandes seems to be a little bit different, because what it says is, if a bid comes in over €35 million, that they can reject the bid if they then pay Bruno Fernandes or Bruno Fernandes representatives £4.5 million or €5 million. So let's use an example here of Manchester United coming in and offering £35 million for Bruno Fernandes. If that's a genuine offer that's put in writing to the club, and if Sporting Lisbon turn that down, then I believe that they have to pay £4.5 million or €5 million to Bruno Fernandes. It seems a very strange clause to me. It's a clause that seems to have been put in there. If you guys remember last season, there was some trouble around Sporting Lisbon. They lost a lot of their players. Their players were attacked at the training facility by, I hesitate to use the word fans, but by a group of people professing to be fans of Sporting Lisbon. So this is apparently what they did with a few players to try and keep them at the club. Now, whether we've bid for them, there's been rumours of a €45 million bid from Liverpool at some point. I don't know. I honestly cannot say. If I'm being honest, and I know you guys are going to come at me and say, but I've seen X on Twitter and Y on Twitter, I'm just being honest. I'm not professing to have any information on this. My gut feeling is that he'll end up at Manchester United, because Manchester United have more of a need and a will and a want to get Bruno Fernandes than Liverpool have. We can do without him. Be great to have him, but we can do without him. United are kind of up shit creek as things stand. They need to get Bruno Fernandes, which may lead to potentially them offering more wages. I don't know, but whatever it is, this is just my honest 2 cents on it. I don't think that we hold an interest in Bruno Fernandes that strongly, although I know that there's so many of you guys who are going to tell me the other side of this coin, and genuinely I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have all heard, because as I've often said, sometimes I come in here with an opinion on something and we get a consensus and we chat about it, and my opinion changes, and I'm more than happy to have my opinion changed on this. So look, let's see how you guys are feeling about it anyway. Sonny said, can you talk about Pepe after this? Yes, no problem, mate. I will definitely go on to Nicolas Pepe after this. Paul Greaves, how are you, sir? Welcome in. Right, let me see. So John Cable said he gets 4.5 million kickback if they reject the first bid over £31 million apparently. And this is starting to now come into more media sources. So as I said, Sky reported this earlier on a story about Bruno Fernandes. We need to sign a quality forward. Do you have any people in mind? Perhaps off the radar. Again, buddy, I promise you I will get on to that in a while. I just want to get through the comments on Bruno Fernandes first. Again, big man Steve, I promise you, buddy. I'll get on to Caballas. I'll get on to everybody you want to talk about. This is your show after all. Let's just try and go through all the stuff around Bruno Fernandes, because then what will happen is we'll get people coming in, we'll have to recap, and it's easier if we just do everything in one go like this. I really hope he signed Fernandes, says Kister. I've got to be honest, I've said all along, I haven't seen too much of Bruno Fernandes. I've seen little bits of him in the Nations League with Portugal, highlights from his time with Sporting Lisbon, but I'm not going to come on and profess to be an expert on Bruno Fernandes because I'm far from it. What else we got? If Lovren proves, no, would you like Nathan? Again, let's stick to Fernandes for the time being, guys, and then we'll get on to everything you want to talk about, I promise. What else we got? Again, so many questions, guys, and I know I probably sound like an asshole right now, but I promise you, every person you want to chat about, we'll go through. I'm trying to streamline things a little bit, and let's just stick with Fernandes. If you don't want to talk about Fernandes, sound, we can push on, no problem whatsoever. It's your show after all. Craig is, I was thinking Liverpool should sign Raul Jimenez. Again, get on to that in a while. Who knew 22 said we're short of attacking midfielders to start of the season. Keita out injured. He's not, by the way. I want to move on. I want to just nip that in the bud about Naby Keita. The Liverpool are fully expecting Naby Keita to be ready and available for the pre-season tour of America. That's something that I read earlier on today from The Guardian, I believe it was. So yeah, just want to clarify that at the start of the stream, actually, for those worrying about Naby Keita. Looks like his injury won't be as bad, or isn't as bad as we expected. Now, I'm not saying he's going to play a full part immediately in the pre-season tour, but they expect him to go on that pre-season tour and to be up to fitness by the time the season starts. That's what I'm reading anyway. Pepe or Fernandes in the backup left back, and we're complete, said Kister. Fernandes, yes or no? No. My gut feeling, Stephen, would be no on Fernandes, but it's just a gut feeling. As I always say, please don't take anything I say as factual, because it's just my opinion. Big man Steve said, I like Fernandes, but I think we need more of a winger / forward. I tend to agree with what you're saying there, pal. That's my way of thinking as well. Let's talk about 6, said Shanzo. Always happy to talk about 6. It's a beautiful number, as I keep saying. Fernandes would be a good buy, said Mark Williams. United are wanting a centre back, and why don't we give them Lovren? He's too good for Manchester United, mate. You know what I mean? He doesn't deserve. United don't deserve a Degsy Lovren. What do you mean by the title tonight on YouTube? I don't. Okay, let me just check what it is. Insert clickbait title here. It's a piss take, mate. That's all. It's just, you go on to talk about football transfers and people will put in the snazzy title. So we just thought we'd take the piss out of ourselves and just say, insert clickbait title here. Just a bit of fun, mate. Nothing else. I don't know why my phone thinks I'm talking to it. United buy Bruno Fernandes and he starts banging in goals who'll close the gap on us. It is mad how quickly people forget quite how good we are. I've seen this today on Twitter as well. Liverpool fans losing their mind over certain other clubs doing transfers, and we'll get to all them as well, but everybody's playing catch up outside of Manchester City right now. Everybody's playing catch up at Liverpool and Manchester City. United signed in Bruno Fernandes, perhaps United signed in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, United gone after a centre back. They're going to lose Paul Pogba, most likely, so they're going to lose that. They're having to pay ridiculous wages to David De Gea, who looks like he could get 350 grand a week. They're having to pay 50 million quid for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They're having to pay 250 grand a week to Marcus Rashford, 250 grand a week to Anthony Martial. So they're having to overpay for players that are already there at the club. So they are playing catch up to us, but what we have that they don't have is Jurgen Klopp. And don't undervalue what Jurgen Klopp has done at this football club, and don't undervalue players improving that aren't even hitting their peak yet. I want a transfer, by the way. I want to be blunt about this. I think we need a forward, 100%. But I don't understand people losing their mind, like thinking we're going to be shite next season all of a sudden. We're not. We're going to be class because we're a class team. But what, Max, just to I can flip what you've said, buddy, and come straight back to you and say, what if United buy Bruno Fernandes for 60 million quid and he's shite? then what happens? I mean, you've automatically assumed he's banging in goals there and he's closing the gap. I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's why I hate United. They just buy the league. Said Sam, they won't be buying it this year, mate. I promise you that much. United are defo playing catch up. For me, the best they can hope for this season is grabbing a Champions League place. Messi's red beard. Yes, there was an issue last night with the stream. I didn't upload afterwards. Fernandes for 31 million is a bargain. The thing is, Liam, that you won't get him for 31 million. That I know this. It sounds ridiculous because the buyout clause is 31 million, but Sporting want 50 million apparently, which seems to have come down from the 70 that was doing the rounds a while ago. My thought is, as I said, I just think United's need for him is more than ours, which means they'll probably be willing to spend more than we would on the player. But look, we'll push on from Bruno Fernandes because there's lots for us to get through as well. What was the next topic I said I'd talk about? Nicolas Pepe, wasn't it? I did say I would talk about Nicolas Pepe. So, L'Equipe have gone with a story that reckons that Nicolas Pepe's entourage, which is the phrase that they use, preferred destination is Paris Saint-Germain, and that Liverpool, Inter Milan and Manchester City are in active negotiations with Lille for the player. Now look, here's my thoughts on this. PSG are desperate as things stand. They're in desperate need. They're going to sell Neymar. They have brought that guy in, is Salaba or whatever his name is, from Sevilla, I think it was, and they're in need of a forward. They're in need of a marquee, a big name forward. Whether they can get Ousmane Dembele or Philippe Coutinho, who isn't a forward as such, but he's a marquee player, or whether they take a gamble on Nicolas Pepe is another thing. I don't think. Some clubs like Liverpool perhaps tend to look at this Nicolas Pepe thing, and I just think the figure of 65-70 million that Lille are putting on his head is just unreasonable. I just don't think he's a 65-70 million pound player yet. And whether Paris Saint-Germain are going to have more money than sense yet again and go and throw it at Nicolas Pepe, I don't know. But what the fuck do you believe in these situations? Because one minute we're hearing that Nicolas Pepe's dream destination is the Premier League and that he wants to come and play in the Premier League. Then we're hearing a few days later his dream destination is either Liverpool or Inter Milan. And now we're hearing that apparently his representative's dream move is that he goes to Paris Saint-Germain. So again, three different stories, and I can pull these three different stories basically from the same group of sites as well, where they're contradicting themselves. So if these sites are contradicting themselves, then how the fuck are we supposed to piece it together? Do you know what I mean? So again, just like Bruno Fernandes, my gut is that we don't hold an interest in Nicolas Pepe, or a serious interest in Nicolas Pepe. And the Echo have come out, I believe, and said such as well. And I know people are going to say, look, the Echo deny everything. I kind of agree with you on that, to be fair. Lately they have denied a lot of stuff. You see Mbappe may be joining, hashtag Mbappe 2020. I'm all over that. And Europe have signed a right back and a championship player. That's not going to strike fear in nobody. I'm with Graham Holmes on that one. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, mate. They spent £50 million on a fullback. That's good, but still not as good as our fullback. Everyone is playing catch up, but let's not forget one big injury could cost us. Last year we got lucky. Yeah, get where you're coming from, Seamus, and that's why I want us to get an attacking player in. But I wonder sometimes why everybody goes to the worst case scenario. And I know you have to prepare for every eventuality, but I just don't want people to forget how good we are. I don't want people to forget that we're European champions for a reason, that we got 97 points in the league, that we've lost one game this season in the league, and that we're unbeaten at home in the Premier League in 2 years. You can't forget these. We're a fucking good team, ladies and gentlemen. And whether we do much business in this window or not, we're still going to be fighting for the league next year. We're still going to be going far in Europe, and we're still going to be doing well. Now, I don't want to dampen expectations, because I absolutely love one of these transfers that you guys are talking about to just come out of the woodwork for us all to sit back and go, wow, didn't see that happening. But all I want to just say is trust the club, trust the process, trust the people involved, trust Jurgen Klopp, Michael Edwards, Fallows, Edwards and the recruitment team, because they haven't steered us wrong yet since Jurgen Klopp joined the club. And that's, I suppose, all I'm trying to do is just preach for a little bit of patience and a little bit of calm. I'm as frustrated as everybody else. I would ideally have liked us to have gotten a transfer in the door and be sitting here talking about Fekir, Mbappe, Pepe, Fernandes, whoever it might be. But as we stand, nothing has happened yet. But we've started to see movement in the market, and I'm sure you guys have seen today that Atletico Madrid have basically signed João Felix from Benfica. That release clause has been triggered. He's on his way there. Manchester City have triggered Rodri's release clause, and this will probably start a domino or a chain of effects that will see Antoine Griezmann moving, Neymar moving, maybe Philippe Coutinho moving, Ousmane Dembele perhaps moving, although again conflicting stuff coming out there of Barcelona. 1 minute he's for sale, the next minute he's going nowhere. He is for sale. I think there's a price for Ousmane Dembele that gets him. Again, let me just come over to your comments though. 35 days left in the transfer window, said Pop and Powell. So yeah, loads of time to get stuff done. Can everybody stop demanding transfers? Klopp knows what he's doing. We're European champions, for God's sake, said Mossy. Alex George said, Craig, I still remember your celebrations when Liverpool scored 4 against Barcelona on that stream. I'm never going to forget that stream, mate. I'm never going to forget that night. I'm never going to forget the way I felt. It was beautiful. It was an absolutely pleasure to be on here sharing that stream with everyone. Crosby said, lucky last season, beating Barca without Mo and Bobby shows we can cope with anything. You've nailed it again there, my friend. It's a very, very good point. Of course, losing the likes of a Mo Salah or Bobby Firmino or Sadio Mane or Virgil van Dijk for a prolonged period of time would be a pain in the arse and would hurt us. But we have belief within this squad, and we have Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain coming back. We've got young Brewster coming through. And I feel like I've probably come across tonight like I'm trying to prepare everybody for a transfer not happening. But I promise you that isn't the case. I'm like everybody else. I want us to go out and strengthen. And I think it would be foolish of us not to strengthen. To stand still while others around us are strengthening, I think would be foolhardy. Now, all I'm asking for is for us to just wait and see what happens. Wan-Bissaka is good defensively, better than Trent by stats. Football isn't played by stats though, mate. Football is played on a pitch. And I can manipulate stats any which way you want to show you why Trent is better. And then I can manipulate them back to show you why Wan-Bissaka is better. But Trent is better. It's just as simple as. Like, he broke records for assists with Andy Robertson in the league last year. It's just, again, I don't want to piss all over Wan-Bissaka because that's not my intention. I actually rate the guy as a very, very good young up-and-coming fullback. Let's go balls to the wall and sign Bebe and Macheda. Oh, what a shambles. And do you remember, was it Alex Ferguson that came out and said that Ravel Morrison was one of the most talented kids he'd ever come across, and yet Ravel Morrison's now training with Sheffield United? So even the best, and Ferguson is up there with the best of them, they all get it wrong from time to time. The Irish Beard said, if transfers are done months in advance, how are Liverpool keeping things so quiet, or are we unsure who we want? I would say it is that we're keeping things quiet, mate. Sometimes reactionary stuff happens. Sometimes something will present itself in the market and the club might take a calculated gamble on it. But in the main, Liverpool, I believe, have probably been working on stuff for 12 to 18 months. We've just gotten very good at keeping stuff under the radar. I don't know how they've done it, but they've done it. And we've seen that a good example of that was with Fabinho. None of us had a clue what was going on there. And then that beautiful, bald Brazilian gentleman arrives at the club and the rest is history. Cape Town Muslim, how are you, sir? Welcome in. Never trust any links to a Barca player. They're always BS, said AJ. If there is one set of clubs that manipulates the media and uses them as a mouthpiece more than others, it has to be Madrid and Barcelona, as AJ is kind of insinuating there. They never stop leaking stuff to the media or linking themselves to players, whether it be to try and destabilise other clubs or because they have a genuine interest. They do use like market and stuff as a mouthpiece for what they want to say. Mossy said, Craig, I still think we should sell Lovren to buy Alderweireld. I reckon Lovren's going by the looks of it. What I was saying last night was his representatives have apparently held talks with AC Milan, and what seems to be the stumbling block at the minute is his wages. 25 million is what Liverpool want. Whether they take a few quid less or not, I don't know. Whether it's one of these mad Italian loan deals with an obligation to buy at the end of it, I don't know. But what I read was that his wages were the sticking demand, or the sticking point in this. But he is open to the move. I think this is one that will probably have truth to it. I think Dejan Lovren will perhaps move on. And then it will be a matter of whether we do look to go and get maybe someone like a Toby Alderweireld, or whether we look to Sepp Vandenberg, or perhaps even to a lesser extent Kiana Hoover. The reason I say to a lesser extent is Sepp van den Berg's is a bit more physical in his size at this moment in time. Hope we do another Fabinho, just sign a player out of nowhere, says Andre. So do I. I really do, mate. I would love that. I would love to be sitting at home watching TV and then get an alert on my phone and have to run upstairs, set up and come on here and do a stream because Liverpool have announced that X or Y is about to sign. Has the lick gone to Juventus? No, not yet, Mossy. That hasn't finished because I think they're still arguing over wages. Or is it that they're arguing over a fee with Ajax, excuse me. The wages I think is 280 grand a week or something like that. But yeah, it seems that they just can't sort out a fee. Mind if I bunch into your gaff? Drogheda is nuts. No, you're not coming near my gaff, Mr. Dead Inside but still horny. Money messing, mate. My door's always open. You can come down for a cup of tea. Just bring the fucking sugar with you because I don't know if we've any left. Spurs wouldn't sell Toby to Liverpool. Yeah, usually I'd agree with you, mate. But when... I think, isn't there a clause in Alderweireld's contract for this summer that 25 million gets him? I don't know how much say Spurs would have in that about whether he would or would not leave. And Daniel Levy is known as a very tough negotiator as well. But there is some type of a clause somewhere that this summer he could be got for 25 million. Now, how we've seen with the Luis Suarez apparent clause, sometimes these things just aren't enforceable. We should take a look at Fabian Ruiz. Plays for Napoli. Really, really good. Kind of like Grujic, but much better. More offensive and not injury prone. Who are we calling injury prone in this scenario, by the way? I was just wondering for who we were talking about. Marco Grujic, we know, has gone on loan back to Hertha. I have high hopes for that guy. I honestly think we'll see him back at Liverpool. Fabian Ruiz, who you're talking about, is a very good footballer, mate. Yes, I will agree, but I've not seen any links with us to him in the media personally. Would you take Coutinho back for the right price? Said Brendan Smith. Yes. Do you know what? Yes, probably. And look back through streams, probably a month ago I'd have told you to fuck off. Or him to fuck off, I should say, not you. But I probably would, I probably would for the right price. Yeah, I probably would, I have to say. It wouldn't be top of my list of transfer priorities, but if... it became as an option. My big worry about that was always Jurgen Klopp. The way that he left the club, I don't know how forgiving Kloppo is, but yeah, it wasn't impressive the way he left the club. I have my thoughts on who we're going to sign, and I'm going to just carry on throughout the stream, but I do have, I think there's something still to happen. What would you say to Alderweireld for 25 million, Fekir for 30 million, Ziyech 35 million, a try for Pepe 60 million? Well, there's no way we're going to sign all those players. But individually, David, the players you've named there, all sound to me. Every single one of those guys. Pepe I know the least about, but the other three, I'd have no issues with us going and getting. If Barca are trying to get overpriced when they bought them out of the club, there's no way we pay what Barca want. They're absolutely flops. There's no way we're going to pay 142 million for Philippe Coutinho, Graham. I absolutely agree with you on that one. Dembele is an interesting one. I think, what did they pay for him? 92, 93, something like that. I think his market value probably is around 100 million euro, which at this moment is probably, I don't know what the exchange rate is, let's say 80, 85 million pounds, something like that. I'd be comfortable personally, Liverpool doing business for Ousmane Dembele at those numbers. Again, though, it would have to be a Klopp being okay with his attitude and stuff, because he does seem to have a bit of an attitude. It's not really a rumour about that, it's been proven. 67 says, Fernandes issue needs putting straight. Stop avoiding, please, mate. I don't really know what you expect me to say there. Do you want me to tell you lies? Is that it? Because if you want lies, then you're on the wrong fucking channel, mate, because I only speak the truth, or what I believe to be the truth, and give my opinion. Whatever you have to say, fucking say it, 67, and don't beat around the bush, mate. If you want to say something, come out and say it and stop being a pussy. If you think he's coming, say it. If you think he's not coming, say it. But stop telling me to avoid it when I've spent the first 15 minutes of the fucking stream talking about it. As I say, as always, if this isn't for you, please feel free, mate. No one's keeping you here. Rumoured that De Ligt will join on Sunday, said Roberto, with regards to Juventus. Roberto being a Juve fan. City not hanging around again. They'll certainly fill the positions that need surgery. Yeah, they've done well, to be fair. They went out there and they got in Rodri, who will be a long-term replacement probably to Fernandinho. And they didn't fuck about. They went out there, they paid the release clause and they got him. But again, we're assuming that we're not going to do anything. I really think we will. Fekir is €30 million and knee trouble risk, said Dean Dixon. Look, I said to you a few minutes ago, I still think there's something in this Fekir. Personally, again, just my opinion. I think this Fekir to Liverpool thing isn't over yet, in my opinion. Again, it is just opinion though. I keep coming back to a few little things. And the one that mostly makes me feel like it's not done is, if last summer we walked away from a £55 million deal because we were worried about his knee, which could be entirely understandable, a year on and a potential £25 to £30 million deal almost halves the risk, which surely makes it a more attractive option for a player that we definitely had an interest in. Add to that the fact that Lyon have to sell. Add to that the fact that we have this friendly coming up at Lyon in, is it the end of July or the start of August in Switzerland, and the fact that it's very, very quiet around Fekir, other than a few tenuous links to Arsenal, who probably can't afford him if they want to sign anybody else because they have a very strict budget at the minute. I just don't think this one's dead. But it is just my opinion. I absolutely have no inside knowledge on anything. Possibly Dembele loan rumour going around with an option to buy for Liverpool, said Yasser. Yeah, I've really seen us do one of those on the Klopp. Have we done one of those deals on the Klopp? A loan to buy deal? I know we've sent the likes of Karius out on them, but I can't remember us doing one ourselves. Before I forget, actually, I did a podcast earlier on with the copbite.co.uk or at the copbite OFF on Twitter, or just the copbite if you want to have a search. I think it's coming out on iTunes and Spotify either tonight or tomorrow. But I just want to say thank you to the guys for inviting me on. It's always a pleasure to talk about the Reds with anybody. And as I've said, my door is always open. And when I say that, I mean it. It was nice of them to make the offer, and we got it sorted out real quick. And I was on there today, and I had great fun. I love talking about the Reds. So again, shout out to those guys. Thank you for having me on. And I hope you guys get a chance to check it out. And I hope you enjoy it, because it was fun chatting Liverpool with the lads. Half the player, he only has one knee, sure. Does he though? I mean, show me where his injuries were this season with that knee. It's very easy to give smart arse answers on stuff, and I can give them right back to you, but I only give you what I believe to be my honest opinion. There's place, if you want to be a smart arse in the chat, work away. It's your prerogative. Lyon sold Ndombele and Mendy. Why would they have to sell? 1 year left on his contract, Andre, that's why. And they're not going to let Naby Fekir walk away for free. Plus, they've made an agreement with the player that he can leave this summer, so they absolutely will sell this summer for him. Now, I agree with what you're saying. I'd be very shocked if they went on to sell Memphis Depay or Aouar or somebody else, because, as you said, they have sold a couple of players already. What was your opinion on Fernandes? Recap. Right, let me just go back. So Fernandes' agent was over in the UK trying to stir up interest in the player, or to see who's interested in the player. Now, as I said, there's been reported that reported widely that there's a £31 million or €35 million release clause that Sporting have in his contract, but that release clause can be overruled if an offer comes in of €35 million or £31 million or more, and Sporting reject it. They have to pay a £4.5 million fee or €5 million fee apparently to Bruno Fernandes. Now, it seems Sporting want £50 million, which seems to have dropped from the 70 that had been reported. I guess it's just a matter of wait and see what happens. Some Liverpool fans I know swear on Bruno Fernandes coming to Liverpool. United fans swear on Bruno Fernandes going to United. But for somebody who seems to be very popular with clubs, nobody's gone in there and put in a real concrete bid. Because let's be honest, if you're out there spending £50 million on Wan-Bissaka, why not drop the same on Bruno Fernandes? It's for a club like United, that's entirely doable. For us, it's doable, but we're a bit more measured in our approach. And the way we go about our transfers, we know Michael Edwards likes to eke out every last penny out of a deal. So the rumour for us was that there was a €45 million bid on the table. Maybe that bid is left on the table. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to get a consensus. João Felix for €120 million to Atleti for 7 years. A time crisis which has been confirmed, which I think will spark a whole domino effect of transfers kicking in now. Fekir for 25 million and first dibs on OR. Said Gaming Tube. Trust in Klopp, that's all I can say. My iPad needs recharging, watching on cable TV, said Anthony. Well, hello Anthony. I'm glad you are watching me. Yeah, I've Alex Mix, mate. I'm aware of this gentleman, Jurgen Head. Well, I assume it's a gentleman. Could be a lady. I don't know. I'm aware of the account on Twitter. And I'm aware of a few other accounts that have long threads on why they believe that we're going to sign Bruno Fernandes. The firm, well, look, I don't really go negative on it, but the firm are complete bullshit, mate. Let's be fair. They are complete bullshit. I don't know Jurgen Head, so I can't speak about him. DiMarzio, we all know about him on Twitter. He is a journalist that some people have a lot of faith in. I don't know him. I don't really follow his account, so I can't say. But the firm is complete nonsense on Twitter. Be fair about it. Like it is. I almost wonder if it's like an Indy Kayla type spoof account at times. But again, I don't know them personally. I just I think I've blocked that account on Twitter if my memory serves me correct. Instead of, wouldn't like Fekir, excuse me, he said LFC 1892. He's a really good player, but he seems pretty injury prone. Is he though? That's the thing. Is he any more injury prone than any other player? I don't know. The issues about the knee potentially fucking up and falling apart, I get that. 100% get that. But he seemed to play a lot last year for Lyon. I don't remember him missing many prolonged periods over the past couple of seasons. There was talk when we were going to sign him last summer that he has to have a rest period every year of 3 or 4 weeks or something. Again, I don't know how true that is. Stephen Richard said, Craig, the current market is so inflated and it's only going to get worse, I think, this summer, Stephen. You're talking about 120 million for João Felix. You're talking about probably 100. I don't know what the deal to take Neymar to Barca will be, but I imagine it's going to be in excess of 150 million anyway. Then you've got the Rodri deal for 70, Wan-Bissaka for 50. Yes, it's going to be a very inflated market, which is why it's even more important that we're clinical in the business that we do, and we have been so far. Did you make it up with the football terrace? Look, I'm not going to talk about him anymore. He's had his 2 minutes of my time. What else we got? Fekir's underrated. There's a reason Klopp wanted him, and that's... I said earlier on about the reasons that I think it might still be alive or might still happen, and one of them as well that I didn't mention is Jurgen Klopp doesn't seem like the type of man to leave somebody like that high and dry, because for him to want a player, he will have sat down, he will have looked at the player, he will have talked to the player, he'll have found out the player's personality, his background, his family life, all the things that go into a transfer, and he decided that at that moment Nabil Fekir was who I wanted for Liverpool, and there has to be a reason for that, whether it's a link up, whether it's a style of play, whatever it is, there is a reason he wanted him. And it's been very quiet from the Nabil Fekir's camp since that didn't go through, and it's been very, very quiet from Liverpool's side. We waited in January to see if perhaps something happened there. It didn't. But this summer, I just have a feeling. It is just a feeling. I don't know. I just can't shake it. Harvey Elliott is somebody, yes, who we've been linked to. He's the kid from Fulham, I believe. Is that right, Gaming Guy? I think he made his Premier League appearance for Fulham as the youngest player to play in the Premier League, I think, at 16 years of age. Attacking midfielder, I think he plays mainly on the right-hand side. And yes, I've definitely seen links. I think, as I said last night, I think one of the guys, Rob Gutman, maybe from the Anfield Rap or something, I think mentioned him on one of his shows. And it's definitely a young player who I have seen linked to us over the past few days. Ola said he'd sell Fekir and 2 more players. Mendy and Dembele sold. They'll accelerate the Fekir deal now. Think they need to sell with only 1 year in this contract. Leon's a selling club, said Varun. Billy Lar said when we go with Fabinho, Naby and Oxlade-Chamberlain with a bench of Hendo, Gini, Milner, reserve, Wilson, Kent. They're not going to be reserves, I don't think, Billy. Kent's going to be gone. If I'm almost sure of anything, it's that Ryan Kent won't be a Liverpool player come the start of next season. Wilson, I think what happens with Wilson might come down to his level of performance and how much he impresses on the pre-season tour of America, or whether maybe an offer comes in around the 25 million. But even if we do sell Harry Wilson, I would be amazed if it isn't a deal similar to perhaps the Camacho deal, where we've a buyback clause or a buyback option and a sell-on clause, because he does have a possible high ceiling. It's just a matter of if Liverpool can give him the time to develop or not. That's the only issues I would have around Wilson is, can we give him that time to develop and the game time to develop? We should sign 2 more players. Is it a Jor 11? A backup defender and a versatile midfielder. Any news on Timo? No, Pop and Pell. No, I haven't seen anything on Timo Werner, which is, again, is very strange. I know they're very, very highly talented footballer with 1 year left on his contract. I'd read before that Liverpool turned down the opportunity to sign Timo Werner because of how highly Jurgen Klopp believed in Ryan Brewster. And again, I'm just telling you what I've read before. It does seem strange that Timo Werner is available and that there's been no real interest in him. Like, he's got 1 year left. Leipzig want him to sign a deal with a €50 million release clause. It seems Werner's refusing to sign that deal. Bayern Munich are waiting in the wings to see what happens. I think they might look at him as a long-term replacement for Lewandowski. They might be happy to try and get him on a free next summer. He might be happy to go there on a free, I don't know. A lot of the times with German players, they do look at Bayern Munich as a pinnacle club and a club that would almost ensure their international career as well. So I suppose we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I am shocked that there isn't more interest around Europe in Timo Werner, or at least interest that we've seen so far in Timo Werner. Douglas James Horn is in. Let me just take a second, mate, to say congratulations to yourself and your fiance, Douglas James Horn. For those of you that don't know, got engaged. I think you're in Tenerife, mate. Is that right? Well, anyway, you're away on a trip with your good lady and you proposed. She said yes, and congratulations, buddy. Lots of love to you both. I wish you many, many, many years of happiness together. I love good news. As I've always say in the stream, the world needs more love, mate, and you're out there dishing it out so well done, mate. Paul Greaves said, I know Fekir is only 30 million, but if we signed him, I'd be made up. Didn't see you how bossy was against Manchester City, tore them apart. I'd be delighted, Paul. Absolutely delighted if we signed him. And again, maybe my fact that I won't give up on this lies as well with the David Maddock tweet that said expect somebody maybe around 20 million, an attacking player wide forward. Maybe again that kind of leads into the Ziyech, Fekir style of player. AJ, that's a very good point that you've raised there, mate, and somebody who Barca are very willing to sell. Malcolm. I'd seen Arsenal linked with Malcolm. Had I seen Spurs linked with him, or have I just invented that one? But Malcolm definitely does seem to be a player who's on the market for a fee that seems to be around 30 million quid, which is reasonable. I don't think he's good enough for us personally, but I do think he is definitely a Barcelona player that is on the market and currently available. Liam said, Klopp said he wants Harry Wilson and Ryan Kent in pre-season before making his mind up. The thing about Ryan Kent though is Liam, I think Ryan Kent has made his own mind up that he's sick of going out on loan and that he just wants to play. As I've said before, Leeds, Middlesbrough, Aston Villa and Rangers interested in Ryan Kent. Wilson absolutely believed that he could get pre-season. That makes sense. Brandt's buyout price. Brandt is gone. Brandt signed for Borussia Dortmund, as did Torgan Hazard. That was done towards the end of last season, so they are now Borussia Dortmund players. We should get Timo Werner if Origi leaves or doesn't sign, so train tomorrow. Yeah, I absolutely believe that we're going to sign Divock Origi on a 5-year deal or a 4-year deal. I think he will agree a new contract in the next, I don't know, few weeks probably. Even if he doesn't though, we're not going to sell him this summer. I think we'll just let him run down that contract. Craig, do you think we should buy Sancho? High ceiling, already very good, can play across the forward line and as a number 10, he's young with inflating market. Right, on Jadon Sancho, a couple of things. One, Jurgen Klopp definitely rates the kid very highly. He's openly spoken about the fact that when Sancho was leaving Manchester City, he would have loved to have tried to get him, but City wouldn't do any business with us. Dortmund have also said that he's not for sale this summer, and I genuinely believe that he's not for sale this summer. They've moved on Pulisic to Chelsea. They've brought in Julian Brandt. They've brought in Torgan Hazard, and I can't remember who the third player was that they brought in. But I think for his own development, Jadon Sancho, if I'm advising Sancho, I'd leave him where he is. I think another season in the Bundesliga there, and you're still going to have all the top clubs around Europe trying to get that kid next year. And the fact that maybe Real Madrid, Barcelona will be, and maybe Paris Saint-Germain, depending on what they do, might be overstretched financially, which would leave a handful of clubs maybe to have a look at Jadon Sancho. But he is definitely somebody the Klopp rates highly. Carl Richard said, we'll take, is it Iñaki Williams from Bilbao, looks very talented and young. Again, another one who broke through, was regarded really highly. Everybody knew about Iñaki Williams, and very raw, very direct, very powerful, and yet nobody seems to have taken a punt on him, mate. Yeah, it is a good show, Carl. Stephen Taggart said, 522 people watching. Please do hit that thumbs up button if you are watching, you're enjoying the stream. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. We're trying to get our asses to 20,000 subscribers, and every single one matters. So if you're enjoying it, please do hit that button. Lots of people congratulating Douglas James Horn as well, which is why I absolutely love this chat. It's brilliant. Sancho's a quality player, but doesn't suit our system, said Liam Hunter. Everybody and every system could be manipulated if needs be, though, buddy. But, you know, I don't think we'll be getting him this summer anyway. Sancho is very unlikely. He's a Manchester kid, said AJ. Sancho will stay in Dortmund, quality player, said Liverpool Football Club. Sancho 2020 would make sense, said Stephen Richards. It's hashtag Mbappe 2020, Stephen. You know that, mate. We're all over Mbappe next year. Look, don't come at me with that. I'm only half joking. Do you think Origi's resurgence could be the reason why we haven't gone in for Fekir? No, I don't, Craig, because even allowing for Divock Origi's resurgence and giving him a new deal, and allowing for Ian Brewster perhaps taking Daniel Sturridge's spot, we're still short, in my opinion. I know Shaqiri can play in the front three. I know with a push, Lallana or Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain could play wide, but we need pace, and I would love another attacking forward, or that 10, that spark to play between the lines like a Fekir or somebody. Anybody who we sign, though, I expect to be another versatile player. So Shaqiri can play in a few positions. So Fekir, again, he could come in and play in a few positions. So expect somebody, not a specialist, which is why I've always doubted us going and getting a direct number 9. Yeah, that's just my opinion, though. What happened to Moses Simon? Do you remember him from last summer? Moses Daddy Simon, that has gone. What is he still at? I can't even remember what club he was at. Was it a Belgian? Was it Anderlecht or no? I don't think it was Anderlecht. It was a Belgian club. I'm sure it was a Belgian club. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, I don't know. He missed out on the World Cup, didn't he? Because he picked up an injury, I think, towards the end of the season, which kept him out. Coutinho's price is falling, said Gary Richards. I think it might. Genk, thank you, James Roberts. I think it might keep falling. It's very interesting. As I said, how ironic would it be if Philippe Coutinho ends up at Paris Saint-Germain after turning them down multiple times when he was at Liverpool because he didn't want to go there, and yet he got his dream move to Barcelona and could well end up perhaps at Paris Saint-Germain. It's madness. It just really does go to show, and I hope it serves as a lesson to other players that you're at Liverpool, you're idolised, you've got a great set of fans behind you, you'll be back to the hilt, the manager will be behind you, you do well, you're a legend, you get that big move. If you don't hit the ground running at a club like Barcelona or Real Madrid, the fans will be on your back very, very quickly. Cape Town Muslim says, looking dapper in the black shirt, mate. You should get the new goalkeeper one. I hope to have that soon. I hope to have one soon. Let's hope it arrives. Carl Richards said Chiesa from Fiorentina is a raw talent, looks very good, be a great sign and a backup for a front three. the links that I'd seen to him were the obvious ones to Juventus, Carl, and his father, I believe, is a Fiorentina legend as well. 21 years of age, had a very good under-21s, looks like a quality player, and should be the type of player that we're being linked with and looking at, Carl. I absolutely agree with you on that. Great show. I'd like to see Liverpool go for Lucas Moura. I think he would fit in well on the Klopp side. What do you think? Said Nurk Twins 1957. He was somebody we were linked with when he wasn't really getting much of a look in at Paris Saint-Germain. Now, I had seen rumours of him leaving Spurs this summer, although I don't know where they came from. Again, though, I'll go back to what somebody said earlier on when we were talking about Alderweireld. I don't think Daniel Levy would like to do business with us, and he's a very tough negotiator. I'd rather have Son or Eriksen if I could pick somebody from Spurs, but Lucas Moura, he shows flashes of absolute brilliance, but I've also seen him go through very frustrating periods. Yeah, it is an odd one because I can understand where you're coming from. I absolutely get your opinion, and he has had moments of brilliance as well. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but I just can't see Levy doing business with us without a ridiculous price as well. We should give Lallana a chance and sell him in January if he doesn't manage to get game time. More clubs will be ready to take a gamble on him in January. There's a good point to that because let's see how he gets on, I get you. But the whole point about January makes sense because if clubs like Southampton, Bournemouth, Norwich, whoever it might be, are looking and staring relegation in the face and they need a creative spark, and Lallana has shown fitness, then if it's not working out from here, perhaps there could be an option there. Who's the Fulham kid we meant to have signed? Harvey something Elliott. We spoke about him a little bit earlier on, Craig. 16 years of age. I think is he 17 now, perhaps. He made his Premier League appearance for Fulham at 16. He's an attacking midfield player. I think he prefers playing on the right hand side. He's got a man bun, and that's pretty much all I know about the kid, if I'm being honest. Do you have any crazy predictions for next season? I think it's possible City could have a collapse. Crazy predictions. The only thing I'll say about City is I fully believe that what's going to happen with UEFA, FFP, the investigations, the repeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, more stories probably coming up in the media, I think that will probably have a destabilising effect on the club next season. Pep Guardiola will work his backside off to make sure it doesn't, but I think with a potential ban from Europe hanging over the heads the following season, I think Liverpool might have a chance to try. I think they might have one eye on that Champions League and take an eye off the Premier League. And I think if we get to a fast start, don't play catch up, I think we can do it, you know. I really do. Does Ta play centre back and left back? I know he plays centre back. Another good example, by the way, Michael, of a player who was touted around when he broke through at Leverkusen a few years ago and has kind of gone quiet on Jonathan Ta. I haven't seen much of him now, I'm not going to lie. I'd seen bits and pieces on him. I'd seen him playing in the under-21s. But other than that, I haven't seen too much on Jonathan Ta. He's a monster of a fella, though. He's a really big lad. Why is Bruno Fernandes choosing United instead of us? If Bruno Fernandes signs for Manchester United, is a thank you for me. It's because we don't want them. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a shit if every Manchester United fan under the sun comes on and tells me I'm a prick for this. If we want Bruno Fernandes, we get Bruno Fernandes. It is as simple as that. We're an infinitely more attractive club right now. Who would you want to go and play for? Would you want to go and play for Jurgen Klopp, for the European champions that you know you're going to be fighting for titles? Or will you want to go and play for an unproven manager in Manchester in a team that isn't fully developed yet? The only way I can think of that United are anyway more appealing is if they pay a ridiculous wage. That's it. That's the only plus that I can see there. I said this on Twitter. If we're in for any player, and we're genuinely up against another club from, there's very few clubs right now I feel are in a better position than Liverpool to try and sell themselves to a player and try and get a player on board. Lucas Moura is a very good player, said Tafster number 9. You're a B-Tech, Daniel Levy, said Stephen Richards. A very, very, very B-Tech, mate. I mean, ridiculous. Okay, so Connor said, good question. Right, let me scroll up and find this gentleman's question. Where is it? Oh, who am I? I'm an enigma wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in fat, mate. That's probably best describes who I am. Only VVD is allowed to have a man bun at Liverpool, so Keita. Yes, fully agree with that one, mate. Absolutely. The only one man bun allowed, and that's Virgil's. We're 25 subscribers, guys, off 17,700. So if you're watching, you're enjoying the stream, please do hit that button. I hope you guys got a chance, by the way, to check out the podcast that went out yesterday with myself, with Brian, and with Dave. It was I enjoyed it. We talked about Ryan Brewster and what we expect from this season. We spoke about the transfer market a little bit, and we also spoke about the impact of the AFCON and the Copa America. So it is on the channel there. If you haven't got a chance, please do go and check it out. I think this will be a hard season for Chelsea. They have a chance for a ban, and Arsenal won't do much with transfers. Said Gary. Yeah, Arsenal are their hands are a little bit tied, and if you're an Arsenal fan, you've got to be banging your head off the wall now, because Kroenke just doesn't seem to want to open up the checkbook and give Emery much money to work with. Now, I know not qualifying for the Champions League will obviously have impacted on that budget, but it seems to be very tight. And the UFC Gamer said, my crazy prediction, Everton to get in the top 6. They've got a good start in 11. Yeah, but they're Everton, mate. You know what I mean? They're the Ev. I mean, they're not going to do jack shit because they're Everton. And they'll like to pretend that they will. And they'll talk a great game. And they'll win the pre-season cup like they did last year. And they'll go out and beat some Austrian mechanics 28-0. And then they'll do what they always do, which is fuck all. Because they're the Ev. And that's what they do. We need to sign some quality players because City are signing Rodri, and so we need to improve. Right, Riley. Here's my comment to that, mate. City are signing a long-term replacement to a player that they have there who's already done well for them. There is no way that Rodri and Fernandinho are going to play at the same time, or very unlikely that they both play at the same time. So my question is, they haven't improved their starting 11. They've probably improved their squad depth a little bit, which was already ridiculous to start with. So that doesn't worry me. Not one bit. The fact that they've done that. They're just sorting themselves out for down the line. We have Marco Grujic as our potential backup to Fabinho, and he's out learning his trade. There's no guarantees that Rodri is going to come in and be as good or anywhere near as good as Fernandinho. Just because players are signing for clubs doesn't mean that we're shit. I don't get this. We don't need to improve. We should improve. I hope that we improve. But it's very difficult to improve on a team that's as good as ours. The only argument really is squad depth. And I get that. I understand that. But at the same time, 35 days to go on a transfer window. Trust Jurgen Klopp. If he hasn't earned your trust right now, then I give up. I really do give up. Because how could he not have? City out of the Champions League means they'll have a free run in the Premier League. You're just not getting it here, mate, are you? You're just not getting what I'm trying to say. They're not going to be out of Europe this season coming up, because if they get the ban, they'll appeal it. It will take too long. The Champions League qualifiers have already started, so there's no way they're going to be kicked out of Europe this season. So what's going to happen is that ban will be hanging over the head for the following season, for 2020-2021, which is why I'm saying that this season they will want to win the Champions League, because that's what Guardiola was brought in there to do. If he knows he possibly has no European football the year after, then that season they might have a the free run at the Premier League. But they might also not have Pep Guardiola by then, because he does work in cycles, Mr. Guardiola, and 2 more years, maybe he's gone, I don't know. But this season, all the stuff that's going to come up, and it is going to bombard Manchester City this year. They're going to have stories coming left, right and centre. The stuff about financial fair play will be all over the media. It'll be brought up at every press conference, and you will see the pressure will ramp up and it will get to Pep Guardiola. I'm telling you right now, this season, the media, just look at when they won the treble last year. A good achievement, fair play to them, but they got fuck all credit for it, because everybody knows it feels hollow. It feels quite hollow what they did last year, because nobody knows the true extent of what may or may not be going on behind the scenes at that club. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I'm just going to sit back and wait for those who are in power to do the job. And if they do the job, we'll know what happens and we'll go from there. But the pressure is going to ramp up. I guarantee you that much. Varun said, Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world. Do you agree? Also, do you think he should be top 10 for the Ballon d'Or? It's very difficult to make an argument for him to be the best in the world when I've only had 1 year of him at Liverpool. He's kept 9 clean sheets in a row for club and country. He is an outstanding world-class goalkeeper, and I'm so happy we have him. I just think, can anybody with one really, really, really good season be classed as the best in the world? I don't know. He has to be in the conversation. I get that. Jan Oblak's in the conversation as well. I get it. I understand where you're coming from, and I rate him very, very highly. But if he does this next season, and he does this the season after, which I fully expect him to, then I'm sitting here without a shadow of a doubt saying, yes, Alisson Becker is the best goalkeeper in the world. The save he made last night from that Messi free kick, he made it look easy, but it was ridiculously hard. He is a damn fine goalkeeper. Our Brazilian lads gave Messi yet another arse kicking last night, said Claire. Class act Bobby, and of course Alisson. Look, I want to give a shout out here as well to Gabriel Jesus last night, because the link-up play between himself and Bobby Firmino was class for that Brazil team. The set-up play between the two of them to set each other really, really good. So I think actually not having Neymar has helped Brazil. I think they've come together. They've formed more of a bond. I still think they should have taken Fabinho. I don't understand why they didn't select Fabinho for that, but yeah, they're in the final and you've got to make them favourites to go on and lift it, particularly it's in their home country. Craig, LFC signing Son from Spurs will be a win-win situation. He's versatile on the pitch, breaking into the Far East market will be beneficial. I'd love it. I've not a single doubt, mate, as to why that would work. I just can't remember off the top of my head what his contract situation is at Spurs, and they would be loath to lose him, especially if they look like they're going to lose Christian Eriksen. The Netherlands qualified for the final, did they? What was the final score? It was 0-0 when I was coming up, Liz. It was a good game, actually. Some good saves from both goalkeepers. Would you like Maddison at Liverpool? Yes, Carl, I would absolutely take James Maddison at Liverpool. I think Leicester City got themselves a very, very good footballer there. For a very decent price as well, who we were linked with. I keep going back to this. I'm not sure if it was I think it was an ankle injury that kept him out at the end of the season for Norwich the year that Leicester signed him. But I just feel that maybe he owes Leicester another year, and maybe there's no harm in him staying at Leicester another year, but I would take him. Yes, I think he's a very good player. Is Mignolet staying next season? Again, mate, conflicting reports on that. I'd be happy if he does stay, I have to say. As a backup goalkeeper, I have no issues with Simon Mignolet. But if he wants to go and he wants to get game time, I think he's 31 years of age, I'd never deny a player like that a move. But for Jurgen Klopp, he has to look after the club. And I think Mignolet believed he was going to get his move last summer, and then Klopp decided that Karius needed to move on. So we kept Simon Mignolet, and he was a thorough professional throughout the season. Yeah, it's a difficult one because it's going to be hard to get in a goalkeeper as professional as Mignolet is as backup, but it can be done. There are options out there, and I think Mignolet wants to move on, but again, we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm sorry, I wish I had all the answers here, but I'm not going to tell you any lies. I'll only ever give you my opinion or what I've read. It was 1-0. Thank you so much, guys, for letting me know the score. Alisson hasn't conceded a goal in 638 minutes. That is class, soldier boy, isn't it? What a bearded Adonis we have. What else we got? Brazil totally outclassed Argentina. They were so clinical. Yeah, do you know what though? From Argentina's perspective, they've some good young players coming through at Argentina. So if nothing else, they got the chance to blood through some younger players. I actually didn't know that kid Foyt from Spurs was Argentinian until last night. Vinnie Morgan said, one great Liverpool season, but his Brazilian performances for the last few years have also been top class. Yes, and his performance for Roma that made us buy him, mate, as well. I kind of probably undersold by saying 1 year because he had a very good season for Roma as well the season before. I just meant the 1 year we'd seen him at Liverpool. But look, yes, I agree with what you're saying. He is consistent. And I'm so fucking happy he's our goalkeeper. Kieran Aaron thinks that Son signed a new contract at Spurs last year. Thank you, mate. I wasn't sure on that one. I know there was talk about it, but I wasn't sure if it happened. iJohn_13 said top 6 predictions. Do you want them in order? Or I'll give them to you in what I think will be the order. Liverpool top, of course, because we're winning the fucking league in my eyes. Manchester City, Spurs, Chelsea, United, Arsenal. That's right now where I feel, but transfers can make things change. And look, it's just complete guesswork, isn't it? 67 said Maddison is the type of player, but if sometimes gets sub brought off for Leicester, maybe he's just not good enough for us, perhaps. For Maddison, the only thing that I would query would be, will he be able to get up to a level of fitness and maintain a high enough standard for long enough at the top level? But he's still a young player. Lallana had fitness issues when he first came. Do you remember he used to always get subbed off, or there was quite a protracted period where he got subbed off and just seemed to blow completely out around 65-70 minutes. But Jurgen Klopp has a Jurgen Klopp level of fitness, and that can't be understated as well. So I think anybody who comes in, it's not an accident that a lot of players, Andy Robertson, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Fabinho, it takes 4, 5, 6 months sometimes before Klopp feels that they're, one, drilled well enough in the system, two, fit enough to get a chance, and when they do get a chance, they generally hit the ground running. So again, it's a fair point, but I think if we do sign anybody, when they start playing, they'll be at the level. Domestic Butler, good night to you, buddy. I hope yourself and the missus are well. Craig, Bruno Fernandes release clause is 31 million, just heard from Sky Sports. Yep, said that a couple of times on the stream, mate. And there's also that 4.5 million clause that if they refuse any offer over 31 million, they have to pay Fernandes that. Chelsea top 4, no manager, Hazard gone, transfer ban. Yeah, you asked for my opinion, mate. If you want to pull it apart, by all fucking means, go ahead. But that's my opinion. I think Pulisic will do well there. I've said, and people think I'm mad and I'm going to stand over this, but I said it when I did my piece for 888 Sport about Eden Hazard. I think Eden Hazard moving on will be beneficial for Chelsea in the long term. I genuinely do. Was there any of us who would have thought that Coutinho moving on would have benefited us going forward? I know Chelsea have the transfer window ban. I get what you're saying there, but I still think they might have enough. They're a very solid. I hate saying this about them because I don't like them, but they're a very solid club. Lampard coming in as well will give them a little bit of a boost there. There'll be a high feeling around the club. I don't know what impact Pulisic will have. Kovacic, that's a signing really, but you asked my opinion, mate, and that is my opinion. I think they'll pip United for 4th. Leicester said they aren't letting Maddison leave the club. He's just signed a new 4-year deal, and look, I completely understand that as well. If you're Leicester right now and you're looking at losing Slabhead, who's Harry Maguire, sorry, in case anyone didn't know that nickname, you want to keep your good young talent. So I absolutely agree. If I'm Leicester right now and I'm Brendan Rodgers, I'm trying everything to keep the best players, young players of the club, and they're going out there and bringing in Perez as well from Newcastle. You got to feel for Newcastle fans though. You really fucking do. They lose Rafa, lose Nayosi Perez. Their owner, well, to say he's been a bit of an arsehole, I think, is an understatement. Gary Smith, I think United will be a dark horse if they get these signings in. They're going to lose Pogba as well, mate. I just don't see United as being anything under the manager. I just don't think the manager's good enough. I think the manager will be sacked before the end of next season, if I'm being brutally honest about it. And let's not forget, they have Thursday, Sunday football to look forward to, and that does have an impact. Thursday, Sunday football just seems to do something psychologically to teams, and yeah, United have the Europa League to look forward to next season, as do any of their superstar signings coming in. Have the Europa League to look forward to. Thursday night, Coronation Street football, even though that's not on a Thursday, it's on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, no, I watch Coronation Street. I'm not embarrassed. I'll put my fucking hands up. I'm a soap junkie. I watch EastEnders, Coronation Street, all those things. I've said it before. I'm not ashamed. I am a little bit though, just a little bit. Remember, Chelsea have about 1 million players out on loan. They can call back, so they won't be short of players. Said David Newell, which is a fair shout. They do. They, as Connor said to me before one day when we were having a chat, they can nearly have their own little mini transfer window from their own fucking players. Alisson Becker has won 4 Golden Glove awards. That's class. Absolutely class. Going to be a good bet for relegation next season, Newcastle, said Embro. I don't want them to go down though. I mean, I know the owner's acting like a shithouse, but I like Newcastle as a club. I like their fans. I hope they don't go down, but Paddy Power I think paid out on them, didn't they? As soon as Rafa announced he was going, I think Paddy Power paid out on them to get relegated. Right, let me just look at my notes real quickly. Connor Masterson, by the way, who Liverpool didn't renew his contract. Connor Masterson has joined QPR, so I want to give a shout out to Douglas James Horner drawing my attention to this one. And Liverpool will receive what is the usual training fee or whatever you want to call it like that. I don't know quite what the number is. And Bobby Adekanye has joined Lazio on a free transfer as well. And Liverpool are going to receive £242,000, I believe, for his development costs. And we'll probably get something similar for Connor Matheson, although at this moment in time I don't know the exact amount. What else we got? Who will be our next signing? I don't know. I just have I know you probably don't want to hear it, but I can't let go of the Fekir thing just yet. At what time do you finish the stream tonight? About 11:15. About 20-25 minutes to go. Nobody has the money for Pogba. He's the least of the priorities for the big teams. Luxury player. He's staying at Manchester United. I don't know, mate. I think Juventus want them. They've made no secret of that. I think it might. Madrid won't have the money to get him. I don't think. And I think you're right there. He would be down their priority list a bit. But I think Juve. And I want to get Roberto's thoughts on this one. Buffon has come back tomorrow, written in the stars. Look, I love Gigi Buffon. He's one of my idols, but he needs to just retire, mate. Honestly, what is he now? 41, 42? When I read the phrase Buffon to have Juventus medical today, it made me chuckle a little bit. He's a legend, a true legend, and a gentleman, and everything positive. I've nothing but love to say about Gigi Buffon, but he's finished. He needs to hang up his gloves. Go into coaching, stay at Juventus, take up a role at the club. He will always be a legend in Turin, and rightly so, and in world football. But he's past it, mate. He's just not good enough anymore. 67 said 520 watching. Please share, guys. Please do. Please share. Please hit the thumbs up. You know all the words at this point. Craig, is it wrong to be excited about a pre-season friendly against Tranmere? No, mate. Of course not. I'm already buzzing about pre-season. I cannot wait for the Reds to be back in action and we finally have some football to talk about. Danny Ceballos, sorry, Ifan did ask about Danny Ceballos. Sorry, I did mention I would speak about Danny Ceballos as well. So there have been links today. I think, was it Marca? Sorry, I apologise, I can't remember where the link came from, but there has been links for Liverpool to Danny Ceballos, and these links, they're not new. They've been there for the past couple of transfer windows that I can remember. He's had an excellent under-21s with Spain, absolutely fantastic. I'd seen a link with AC Milan, who have been linked to Ceballos, to Fekir and a couple of other players, and 35 million was the figure that I'd seen for Danny Ceballos. Now, if that is a correct figure, and I don't know if it is or isn't, I would happily go in for Danny Ceballos at that money. I have no issues around Ceballos. I hope the links are true. I hope we are interested in him. And I hope maybe he could be one of the players that we hadn't really spoken about much that Liverpool are trying to get something done on. There's also news to say that Real Madrid really wants Sadio Mane. There was the whole Asensio thing there. Look, I like Asensio as a player, but they're not getting Sadio Mane. It's just not fucking happening. They can forget about that. If they'd be petulant enough, perhaps not to even entertain us buying Ceballos for that reason, I don't know. But Real Madrid need to move players on as well. They need to free up cash because they're spending a lot of money and they've a lot of high wages on the books as well. So I don't know if the links are real, but I would happily have Danny Ceballos at Liverpool, yes. Adekanye has been at Ajax, PSG, Barca, some team in France, Liverpool and Lazio, and he's only 20. That's crazy. I didn't know he'd been at all those clubs, man. That is crazy. Also, Alan Rodriguez de Sousa, I don't even know what his full name is. He is back on loan with whatever club he's in Brazil. till January or December. I think he signed an extension there. The Chelsea loan players will have their own WhatsApp group, said Brian Morrissey. Chesney will still be... Oh yeah, absolutely, Roberto. Chesney will be number one, and rightly so. I think he's earned his stripes at Juventus. And as I said, I don't want to be disrespectful to Buffon because he's one of my heroes. Stephen Richards said Buffon's that old, he's having an autopsy at Juventus. I mean, look, we don't want to make jokes about people dying, mate, but it was fucking funny. I've got to say, it was. Can't wait for everybody to have to watch us smash Norwich on a Friday night and listen to us being unbearable about number 6. There you go, Zach. That's where we should be going with our conversations. Well in, mate. Yeah, we'll smash Norwich, hit the Premier League running, and let people know we mean business. Vinnie Morgan says, how do United think that Pogba's performance have increased his price tag? I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I get where you're coming from. Maybe his dabbing has gone up a level or two, or his dancing. I don't know, but I'm with you. There's no way he should. Even with an inflated market, he hasn't gotten better since we're not United. If anything, he's gotten worse. Are you following the AFCON? I am indeed, mate. Do you know if Guinea close to getting eliminated? Keita really needs a rest. One time I'd read that they were out, and then another time I'd read that he was going back for a few days treatment and then going back. So I don't know if Guinea made it through or not, actually. I've more been following Senegal and Egypt, to be honest. So I don't know. I know he was back in Liverpool having treatment, but there was talk that he had to report back to Cairo. Maybe somebody else would have more information on that one. We're the champions of Europe, said Liam Granby. Yeah, we are. Steve says Buffon has gone for the Champions League medal, the runners-up medal, mate, when they lose to us in Istanbul, because 7 is a nice ring to it, doesn't it, Steve? As does a little return trip to Istanbul. Buffon is bad luck in the Champions League, said Sipsco. There you go. Steve, I was giving you credit, mate, earlier on, by the way. I don't know if you were in the stream or not. For a very long time ago, you were talking about the clause in the Bruno Fernandes deal, the 4.5 million. I was bigging you up for that one, mate. I was giving credit where it's due. Let's talk about 6, said Stephen Booker. Never too much talk about number 6, mate. Happy to talk about it. So who's the first manager to get sacked this season, asks Nageb. It's a good shout, actually. Who do you reckon? Who do you guys reckon will be the first one to get sacked now? I don't think Solskjaer makes it through the season, but I don't think he'll be the first one sacked. Right, let's look through the league. It could depend on Crystal Palace's takeover, actually. Stuff like that might come into play, because maybe Palace will get a takeover and whoever comes in will have their own ideas on manager. So maybe look at Palace. Well, Sheffield United, there's some ownership issues going on there as well, although I think they'd be mad to sack their manager after what he's done. But it's a good question. What do you guys think? Who would your favourite be to get the chop first? Mr. Clean had said Bruno Fernandes 7-2 to join United by Monday. That's still quite high odds, to be fair. I would have thought they might have been lower than that. 67 said the AFCON seems pointless in a weird way. Can somebody explain something to me, actually? I was listening to, I might have heard this wrong, but I was watching the Copa America last night. Is there another Copa America next year? And if so, how and why is there another Copa America next year? John Irwin said Guinea are third in the group as it stands. So are they waiting to see if they're best runners up? Is that it? Or not best runners up, best placed of the rest, or whatever it's called. Steve reckons Fernandes will sign on Friday. Do you mean for Liverpool there, Steve, or for United? Because I know you've been long in the camp, mate, that you believe Liverpool are going for Bruno Fernandes. Lampard, Potter is the show for Tom Boland. Lampard for Poochmount as well. Oh, the knives are out for Frank already. What do I think of Iñaki Williams? Spoke about him a little bit earlier on, Neil. Very good, very direct, very pacey, but a little bit raw. And I'm surprised that nobody has made a move for him, because he's been known about for a few years. I wonder why that is. That's kind of what makes me a little bit doubtful. And I'm not going to say I've watched an awful lot of Bilbao. I've watched some of them this season. And I do like Iñaki Williams. I looked out for him when Liverpool played Bilbao and Dublin a couple of years ago. Is it acceptable to regularly bash Maguire on here with my attempts at being funny? Knock yourself out, mate. Slag off Maguire as much as you want. He's not a Liverpool player. You have at it. Graham Potter said Stephen Richards with regards to being sacked. On Farley said very boring window. Get this season started. Marco Silva. David Gray's gone balls out and said Silva. Dean Smith at Villa said Jason Roberts. That's a good shout, actually. That is a very good shout, Jason. That slipped my mind completely. Yeah, I'm on Team Jace for this one, actually. Yeah, you can include me on the Villa bandwagon. Ole for the sake of the sack Ole airbag said morally diminish the sequel. That's a pretty... Is there a reason behind that name? I'm interested now. I like it. But is there a reason behind it? Is it a name of a channel or a podcast or something like that? Lampard only agreed to sign if he was given at least 2 years to turn things around. Yeah, but to be fair, they could say that to him. Doesn't mean he's going to get the fucking 2 years. You know, Frank, yeah, 2 years, yeah, definitely, Frank, yeah, Frank, come here, sit down here, buddy. It's not working out, pal. Do you know what I mean? So, TTFN. It's one thing saying to a manager you're going to get the time. It's another thing. We know player power is massive at Chelsea, and it's one of the reasons I think moving on, Hazard will be beneficial. And I don't know if bringing Frank Lampard in is the right or wrong move, but again, time will tell. For Liverpool, Steve reckons as well. For you're still on that one, mate. I give you credit where it's due. You're not letting this one go. You're fully. Last year it was Fekir Friday. This year it's Fernandes Friday. Let's just wait and see what happens. Pepe will never go to PSG. He's a Marseille fan. Yes, he is worth 70 million, by the way. If he's worth 70 million, mate, why hasn't anybody signed them or even made an offer anywhere near 70 million? It's one thing, the news stories out there saying PSG, Liverpool, Inter Milan, Bayern Munich are all interested, but nobody seems to be pulling the trigger at a price at 70 million quid. And look, it's about opinions one way or another. He's had one good season in a shit league, so it is just about opinions. I don't think he's good enough for us from the few bits I've seen of him, and he definitely wouldn't be near the top of my list of priorities. But I ain't Jurgen Klopp, and I haven't done the research that Klopp would have done on a player, so it is opinion. If you think he's worth 70 million, mate, then who am I to tell you otherwise? Daishi to get sacked first, said Nageb. There's one thing next year following every 4 years. I can't remember what it is to keep on line with. That is weird that there's one next year then. Why on earth is that? The odds on Fernandes come Liverpool last I seen was 1-2. Can somebody check that live on the stream as we are? What the odds are for Bruno Fernandes to sign for Liverpool and United. What else we got? Everybody in Guinea's group have played 3 games each. Yeah, but they might be waiting for other groups, mate, to finish up, because as it stands, I believe the top 2 in every group go through, and there's a couple of the third place teams go through as well, so they're probably just waiting for other games to finish up so they can see what points people finish on. And if I'm just guessing, by the way. Just no, fuck off with Neil Warnock to replace Klopp. You need eyebrows to manage at this club. This is why I'd be fucking perfect. Look at these, one big slug across my head. I'd be a perfect manager. Warnock with his no eyebrows are too fucking suspicious. Roberto said I was lucky enough to watch my hero play friendly against Argentina last year at the Etihad. One of the best moments of my life. Good. It's always great if you get to see your heroes play, mate. Okay, what else we got? Fabinho will be one of our best players next season. His improvement in a red shirt was phenomenal. Yeah, he's been class. It's been such a pleasure watching him develop at the club and seeing him here. I love having Fabinho here. Sheffield Wednesday manager, the first one to get sacked, said Billy Donnelly. Craig, you recruit mods like Klopp recruits footy players. They're great. To be fair, mate, Brian Morrissey handles the mods. And they are great, and they saved my ass many, many, many times. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll through some more comments. There are concerns about Pepe's consistency. Yes, and I'd seen, particularly around Bayern Munich, I'd seen a lot of stuff to say that they were completely unsure about him and that they were absolutely not going to be interested at that price point of 70 million. In fact, it's quite obvious that they want to sign Leroy Sané. I don't know whether they'll get him or not, but there is a few questions around Pepe with a lot of clubs, and I think that's only right because he has had one very good year in a bang average league. If Liverpool don't sign anybody, can I play left back? No, mate. No. I am left footed though, as things stand, but no. But we have Adam Lewis to come through, and we have James Milner that can play at left back as well. Varun said Pepe's worth 40 million plus 10 in add-ons. He's fast but doesn't have great control. Scored 22 in the French league but lots of penalties. Save money. Mbappe 2020 instead. Yeah, let's jump on the Mbappe 2020 bandwagon. I'm all for that. What a year that'll be. Trump getting rid of as president from America, and then we sign Kylian Mbappe. I mean, 2020 is just going to be the year where everything goes right. Pepe is good. He took apart PSG, and Fernandes is improving. Well, I don't want Fernandes either, Prez. I'm not saying I want Fernandes. I want Fekir. That's who I want. But taking apart PSG, what does that mean, mate? Honestly, it's... I don't... let me give you an example. Last year, Liverpool fans were losing their fucking minds that we weren't going after Martins. Gelson Martins, whatever his name is. And this year, he's up for sale because he's been dog shit for Atletico. There's been numerous... Alex Teixeira, another player people lost their minds over. Conor Playenka, another player people lost their minds over when we didn't sign. And we've been proved right every single time. When Liverpool haven't pulled the trigger on a player under Jurgen Klopp, I can't remember a single time where I've looked back and gone, should have done that. There's very, very few. So if we don't sign him, I actually don't expect him to go on and do much. Because, or either that or we just weren't interested. Sorry, there is that as well. What's the chances of Fekir being announced at the Lyon match? Probably not very high, because I'd imagine it would be want to be well done before then, Claire, with the season starting and stuff. John, United 1-4, Liverpool 11-4 according to Odds Checker for Fernandes. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate you taking the time to do that. But Mr. Clean said it's 1-3 for United and 1-9 for Liverpool. That's hang on. So the United ones are ringing through from both yourself and John, but the Liverpool one's massively different. There's a huge difference between 11-4 and 1-9. So the United one seems consistent there, but what's up with the Liverpool ones? Will João Felix gone to Atletico Madrid for 100 million today kick things off? Perhaps. 67 perhaps. There's the Griezmann to Barcelona deal, which looks like it could go through in the coming days. And then there's going to be the Neymar deal. And Neymar to Barcelona, and it'll be interesting to see if any player is included there to go back to Paris Saint-Germain, or if Paris Saint-Germain just want money and they go after Nicolas Pepe or somebody else. Stevie Richard said Craig Mbappe / Sancho / Nike 2020, just saying. The League One players' fees are ridiculous, said Bernadette. Jace Roberts said we don't buy players off the back of one good season, not how Edwards and co works. They're proven to want a bigger sample size. Kind of what I was trying to say earlier on, although probably not in the most eloquent way. We've been proven right when we don't pull the trigger. And as Jace has said there as well, we do like a larger sample size. Very better put than I probably ever could. Lee said, I've had a boss day today, not too late for a signing to top it all off. But you know what, mate, I'm absolutely glad to hear you've had a lovely day. It's always nice to hear good news. Fekir is unproven. Did you really just say that, mate? Honestly, we're saying Nabil Fekir is unproven. He's done it in the Champions League. He's been part of a World Cup winning squad, although with not much impact, I'll give you that much. To say he's unproven, mate, he is 10 times more proven than Nicolas Pepe is. 10 times more proven, mate. Yeah, in the Champions League, at the top level of European football. He's done it. So, that's my take on it. But you're entitled to your own opinion, mate. But it's absolute just hyperbole, FIFA, fucking football manager hype. Absolutely. Like, Tell me honestly that 15 months ago you knew who Nicolas Pepe was. And I guarantee you, if you're honest, you probably hadn't got a fucking clue who he was. I'm going to win the Champions League this year in the Copa America, Alisson. I'm about to end this old man's career. Fekir has a pass completion of 85%. That's really good. He's captain of Lyon. He's a leader and he's handled the transfer heartbreak well from a Lyon point of view. No social media vent out. Good lad. He's infinitely more proven. I don't give a shit what press says actually on this. He's infinitely more proven than Nicolas Pepe. I understand, mate, that you like the kid, but just try and be realistic in what we're saying here. Who are we playing at Murrayfield? I can't remember. Who are we playing at Murray? Is it... No. Who is it? Napoli? Napoli, I think, Stephen, is that right? Liverpool will sign Fernandes, Fekir and Pepe. End of. No, we won't. Steve, there's not a fucking chance we go out there and sign the three of those. Not a hope. Yeah, with all the best intentions and will in the world, and as much as I'd love us to go and do it, it ain't going to happen, mate. Let's be realistic about it. I'm not saying any of them won't happen, but the three of them, it's not going to happen. If Benitez comes back to Europe, what club do you think he'll join? I've no idea. It depends what availabilities are there, I suppose, at the time. Fekir's right knee is not proven. It's not unproven either, though, Steve. As I said, didn't miss much time this season. Safnaf said Fekir will be announced after Lyon's pre-season. Klopp always looks back at his targets. Plus, he bossed it against City. I do think that they're friendly as a link. I'm definitely on board for that idea, but it's too late to announce him then. We would want him hopefully done and dusted before then, so we can get some time with the club. Our squad will improve on last season as it did. I like new signings, but I'm happy to go again with Oxlade-Chamberlain, Gomez, Keita and Lallana all having better luck with injuries. Yeah, look, I hope to God they can all stay fit. Absolutely. The more bodies we can have available, the better. I feel like we're all turning on each other a little bit here out of frustration, ladies and gents. Let's relax. Let's all just try and relax. What will happen will happen. We're European champions. We're in a good position. There's time left in the window. There's money available. Other than that, I guess we're just going to have to be patient and trust. I can't believe some people... Well, we're all on here talking about it, to be fair, but I can't believe we're, from the position that we're in, being a bit negative. And I include myself in this little critique here. We are... Jesus, it's like we forget that we just pulled apart Barcelona 4-0, won the Champions League, and we're pretty damn good almost most of the season. Defensively, absolutely sound. And we're only going to get better as a team next year. And our starting 11 are only going to gel more. Yeah, I just think we've a lot to be positive for. And sometimes it's easy for us to get a little bit frustrated during transfer window because we all love a transfer. We do all love a transfer, let's be honest. What else we got? Klopp wants to see if Wilson's good enough, then he'll sign an attacking mid. Said Sipsco 0-1. If you could sign just one marquee player, what position, who do we need? A wide forward for me, mate. And I would Fekir, Dembele. I can't say yes or no on Pepe because I haven't seen enough of him, as I keep saying over and over again. The Bruno Fernandes thing, I just don't think it adds up. Danny Ceballos would be a tasty little player if the price was right as well. Quite creative, had a really good impact in the under 21s. Werner has gone ridiculously quiet for God knows what reasons. But I would stick with Fekir, or I would take Dembele at the right price. I would take Coutinho if he wanted to come back and the price was right, although he wouldn't be near the top of my list. Saw you on the 888 Sport, mate. Well done. Thank you, some duck. Appreciate that. It was fun filming with 888 Sport, and I hope there's more. I think there's more stuff maybe in the pipeline. Although I can't talk as things stand because nothing's been signed. Craig, are the international competitions going to be on during the Super Cup final? And if so, do you think the likes of Gomez, Brewster and Oxlade-Chamberlain will play? No, they won't be on. The Super Cup is the 7th, is it the 14th of September, something like that. I don't know who will have available, mind you. I don't know who will be fit, but the competitions will be over and the majority, if not all of the players should be back by then. I think all of them. Okay, Roberto, don't piss all over our goalkeeper, mate, because I will fuck you out of the chat for pissing all over Alisson Becker. I don't give a shit how long you've been here, mate. Buffon is past it. Buffon is an amazing goalkeeper who I love, but don't dare say Alisson Becker will never be on Buffon's level. He's already won a fucking Champions League, pal. I'm not going to stand for anybody pissing all over one of our players. I don't give a shit how long Buffon's been there. He's finished. He's had his career. Alisson's time is now, and we're going to fucking enjoy him. And there's no way anybody's coming in and pissing all over our goalkeeper, mate. I don't give a shit how big of a legend Buffon is or how much you love him. Bobby will be on the bench for the Tranmere game. Do you think we didn't land number 6, a significant sign would have arrived by now? I don't know, mate. I honestly haven't got a clue. But we did land number 6, and I would have number 6 over a significant sign in any day of the week. I really believe in Keita. But do you think we should sell him? He's a similar season next year with injuries and recoveries. I want him to become like Lallana. It's heartbreaking. I absolutely 100% believe in Naby Keita, Varane, and I think most Liverpool fans do as well. It was frustrating this year, mate, and he didn't have the season that we'd all hoped. None of us can sit here and say that he had a great season. He didn't. He had showed flashes of brilliance. Roberto, by the way, mate, I do love you. You know I love you, pal. You know I absolutely love having you here, and you've been great in the chat. I'm just very protective of my bearded Adonis, mate. So if I came across extra harsh, pal, sorry. You know we love you, and you know you're a valued member of the chat. I don't want to feel like I'm being really harsh, but my God, I love Alisson. Do you know what I mean? I had to put up with Mignolet for years, pal. And I've spoken so many times about how much I adore Gigi Buffon. But you can't say Alisson will never be on his level, mate, because we don't know what the future holds. Back to Keita, sorry. I'm really angry, Varane, that he was dragged to the African Cup of Nations. Now, from a footballer's perspective, they're all proud of their country. They're proud of their heritage. They're proud about where they come from. They want to represent their country. I get that. It's to be admired. But at the same time, sometimes players need protecting from themselves. And I think the Ghanaian manager, much like maybe the situation with Salah last year, again, national pride, maybe got in the way of common sense, because he didn't have the greatest of World Cups and he didn't have the greatest of starts to the season because, quite frankly, Salah wasn't fit. Nor is Naby Keita. It's so difficult because I really rate Naby. I really do. Very, very, very highly. Dusan Tadic would be a good sign, and he's very old though. I was actually surprised to figure out that Tadic was like 32 or something, isn't he? If I'm Tadic, by the way, I'm staying at Ajax because he's found a nice little club there where his performances have been class. And I just think he's the right place for the right time for the end of his career, Tadic, but he's been very, very good for Ajax. Players who stand at Anfield and listen to the Champions League music with the whole ground singing their nuts off elevates players to a newer level. Robbo came, got that tingling feeling and has grabbed his opportunity. Beautiful, Graham. Absolutely beautiful, mate. And I remember somebody saying to me before about Virgil van Dijk that he was walking off with, he was a Southampton player at the time. I don't know who he was talking to, but again, I want to give credit where it's due, but I can't remember who said this. And they said that he just turned around and said, why wouldn't you want to play here? Like, look at it. Why wouldn't you want to come and play here? Are capital letters allowed? My last two comments were deleted. It's the thing about it, I didn't delete them, by the way, 67. I'm just guessing here. It's almost bad etiquette, if you get where I'm coming from. I think, isn't it like capital letters are shouting or something? I don't know, mate. I'm silly when it comes to all this stuff. I'm just guessing. Roberto, mate, look, sorry, don't apologise, mate. You love Buffon, I love Alisson. I think that's just where this is. Do you know what I mean? You love Gigi, I love Alisson. You're standing up for your man, I'm standing up for my man. Let's just forget about it, buddy, and move on. Two class keepers. Alisson played for internationals before. Why was my comment deleted instantly? Was just asking a genuine question. I have no idea, Sean, mate. What was your comment? If you want to put it back in, Sean, please do, mate. I didn't delete it, so I don't know what it was. Wouldn't mind Ryan Sessegnon as a backup to Robbo, especially as he's a Liverpool fan. Yes, Tony. Actually, do you know what? That's a name none of us have spoken about in a while. So yeah, well, let's finish up on that one on Ryan Sessegnon. The two clubs that have been most strongly linked were Liverpool and Spurs. There was loads of rumours about him the year that Fulham came up, but he wanted to give Fulham his full attention for the year that they got back into the Premier League, because that's the club he came through at. There's been a lot of talk though around Fulham and Liverpool. It's gone very quiet though. Yeah, it's a good shout, mate, and a name that hasn't been doing much in the media recently. And I'd love Ryan Sessegnon to come in. Now, I would clarify though, he's not a left back. He's played at left back, but much like Firpo, who we were talking about recently as well, he's more of an attacking left-sided player, shall we say, than more of a full-back. But he would be a great addition and would fit the profile of the type of player that we should be looking to sign 100%. Yeah, it's a really good shout, that. Were you a keeper, Craig? Just asking because Buffon was a hero. Yes, I was, mate. That's the position I played. I can hear Connor fucking laughing as I'm saying this. But yeah, I was a goalkeeper. That is where I played when I was growing up. And Buffon was one of my heroes. Yeah, absolutely love them. Got a bottle of gin today from Blackwater Distillery. Where's that? P51AX59. I haven't got a clue, mate, where that postcode is. Blackwater's in Wexford, though, is it not? But I don't know where the distillery is. What about Ben Yedder as backup? He's been linked. I think you know what I'm going to say here, Steve. He's been linked to Manchester United very, very, very strongly. Now they look like they're going to move on Romelu Lukaku to Inter Milan for 64 million after a 2-year loan. Something like, I think it's a 9 million quid loan fee with 54 million to be paid in 2 years, if stories are correct. Ben Yedder had been somebody linked to United. I hadn't seen any links to him to Liverpool, if I'm being honest. Sometimes I wonder, buddy, if you're on a wind up with me trying to link every United link to Liverpool. Yeah, but no, I've not seen any links. Yeah, WhatsApp are completely fucked today. Have you guys had any issues, by the way, on WhatsApp's been fucked? Facebook's had issues. I think Instagram's had issues, particularly around picture messaging and stuff like that. Roberto said Ryan Sessegnon will become a class player. Yeah, the kid is really talented. Gonna send you an email on Hotmail after the stream, but no rush to respond. I'll try my best to get to it, John. Yeah, I will. I'll try my best to get to it tonight. Do you think we should buy a backup goalkeeper if we buy like Handanovic, Etheridge, Keylor Navas or Schmeichel? If we move on Mignolet, then yeah. Who do I think we should buy? I liked the links to Adrian. I don't mind the links to Etheridge, and I was a little bit excited about the old Pepe Reina links as well. But Handanovic is a good show, very solid backup goalkeeper. Navas, I just wonder how much he'd cost and if he'd be happy to come and play backup again, having done so for Real Madrid. But all good level goalkeepers you've named there. What do I think of Rodri to Man City? It's a good long-term replacement for Fernandinho. I suppose only time will tell if he's worth the money or not, but it's a position, it's a transfer they needed to get done. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call that a night. What day is it? Wednesday? Should be back tomorrow night to talk to everybody. And Cash is coming on. We're going to record something on Friday. I don't know when that will go out, but yeah, Cash will be coming on to talk on Friday, and then I think we'll just go through the weekend and see what happens. Look, as always, if you haven't subscribed, please do hit that button before you head off. Give us a thumbs up and let people know that you've liked the stream. I'll chat to you all tomorrow, all gone well. Take care of your families. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Thank you for your time, and up the motherfucking Reds.